Kids don't understand that.
Sorry.
Kids don't understand that.
Wow, this is political propaganda.
Kids don't understand that.
Sorry.
Can't play well, play loud.
Jason just abandoned us in our hour of meeting.
Kids don't understand that. Kids don't understand that.
Turn into like a Substack. Turn into like a Substack.
Apologies to everyone watching.
Kids don't understand. Welcome everybody. Another live stream show for Friday. I don't even know what day it is, but it's Friday. I know that.
Is it?
Is it really?
Friday already?
Well, it's sad. I actually get sad on Fridays because I'm like, oh man, I don't got another day of working on this stuff. It's the opposite for everyone else.
Says who?
Says who?
Yeah, says who.
Yeah, you can work on a
Says
Saturday.
me.
See, that's you're on your worst enemy.
No, I got to take the breaks. You got to have the breaks. If you don't, have
I don't know if I agree with that.
okay, it's fine.
I mean, you got to sleep, but
Wait till you're 45.
Yeah.
And you've made like 5 comics.
Yeah.
You
That's what
sacrificed your whole life to do them, and they haven't brought you very much revenue. Just wait.
okay.
Sorry to
never know.
Hopes all
Sorry.
down.
You're going to hit 60, and then all of them are going to become collector's items. And they're all going to be worth like, hundreds and hundreds of dollars each. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, well, thank goodness I kept all those spares.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I would have kept more Remind box sets because those things, people really want those.
It's kind of interesting, though. It's like with art, the longer something's around, the more it's worth eventually.
Yeah.
Especially when the bigger you become, and the more people find you and stuff, they're going to be like, new fans that are coming into your circle are going to be like, oh, what is Remind? And then they'll go and look at it and be like, I really want this. And it's going to be like, I have to go out on eBay to find it.
Yeah.
It's worth so much,
Yeah.
So, hey, Craig.
Hey,
Greg.
Cool song, buddy.
thank you. I was just goofing around. I wasn't expecting to use it for the opening.
For every opening from this point on. Yeah, going back to working on Saturdays though, I would choose to work on Saturdays if it was good for our family, but it's not. So not saying anyone who does work on Saturdays is not good. It's just that
no. I get it, dude. You gotta do what's right for you.
it's it's not really time for me. It's time for everyone else. It's caused too much drama if I tell everyone they have to kind of live with my schedule that I impose on myself, that I want,
Mhm.
And so it makes, it just causes more drama. So I realized, okay, well, for the sake of my wife and everyone, I need to just schedule this time off from working, and I'll be home and do home stuff, help with, like last weekend we made a garden thing and.
Well, but you've said before you work fast, so it's not.
Yeah, and the older I get, the more I'm like I'm realizing it's necessary for me to check out for a little bit longer now. And when I was 20 and 30, I think I would work better going longer periods of times before taking breaks.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think I just need it, and it's not like my brain shuts off. My brain keeps thinking about this stuff, and it gives me time away from actually doing the work to kind of reassess it from a distance. And so I think it's been really helpful because it's forced me to do other things like music, so I'm still working on stuff whenever I can. So yeah, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm saying you must do it, because everyone has a different situation they're in. So, And I think once our kids are older and like just doing their own thing, I'll probably go back to working on Saturdays, as long as my wife's okay with it.
Right. If my wife wasn't okay with me working on weekends, I wouldn't do it. You know.
Yeah. And that's I think the biggest thing is what your family needs from you and wants from you. You know, and it's different for everybody.
Right.
So some people just, you know, are like me, where I'm like, I can be alone and be fine for weeks. You know?
Yeah.
And if my wife was the same way and she liked being at home by herself, then that would be a whole different story. But she doesn't like being home by herself. She likes to go and do things and hang out with friends and be a people person.
Those extroverts.
Those extroverts, I don't get them.
Thank you.
Are you're yeah, okay.
What? What was that?
You're an extrovert?
No,
Like,
I heard that. I heard all of your thought process.
Yeah, really?
Oh wait, you're a
total?
well, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Are you like a total extrovert though?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Every part of this has been kind of like drawing is different. When I sit down to draw, I can just ignore the world, but like the moment I stop drawing, I remember that I haven't seen anyone, and I start to freak out.
See, that's weird. I didn't think you could be an artist and like be super extrovert, just because of how much time it takes to be by yourself.
Yeah,
and creating.
But that's
I see it in your personality. I guess, you know, now that you say it, especially, I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like I could easily. I mean, I think part of that is shows itself in how I make jokes about it, but I really do need other people's approval, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like I do too, though. I mean, my parents' approval with that I just was doing a good job with my art and stuff, and friends' approval, and I would surround myself with friends that kind of were artists and liked art and thought what I was doing was cool when I was younger. So I can definitely see that. And I mean, we're live streaming with all like-minded people, so you guys approve what I'm doing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be like, I don't like live streaming. No one gets it.
I don't know that we'd be on your stream if we didn't like what you were doing.
Yeah. So I think that's just a part of art is kind of the approval, like everyone, the approval process of other people.
But even then, like, I think that's the reason I'm drawing.
Yeah.
It's because my, friends and family said I was ever so slightly better than some other people. And then I was like, cool, that's a thing to latch on to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense. I wonder how much of that it is for me too, because I love drawing always, but I wonder how much of that motivation was just from people approving what I did and liking what I did at a young age.
It's a scary process thinking about all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's messed with my perception of whether or not I should be doing this,
Mm-hmm. Well, you are good, so
Well, what's funny? I'm actually exploring that. There's a line in my comic that I'm doing right now where the girl says, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you want to do it, and doesn't mean that you should be doing it. So, wonderful parallels.
Yeah. Good things to wrestle with.
I guess that really depends on what you're good at.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be good at some awful things.
Good at killing people. Gosh, I'm just the best at it, but
I should do this. I'm good at it.
All right, Dexter, calm down.
I'm good at just tearing people down. So I need to do it.
That's a really interesting one, because that's something that like some people do. They take those types of things and take pride in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
Oh, you missed something special last night, Fuzzy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Oh, you missed.
Are you allowed to repeat it?
Something special. I can't really say out loud what it was.
Can you put it in the?
Can't even type it. That's not good.
It's just
all right, in the private chat. I'm thinking of how to put it delicately.
Do your best, man. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to be worse than what I already have experienced?
I don't think it's worse. It was just different. It was just different. It was a new side of a lot of people that came out, and it was very strange.
I'm stoked.
And it came from some strange like conspiracy theory stuff.
Okay.
So it came from a really weird place, but everything devolved to
Birds don't exist.
That's the go-to.
Do you know that, Craig?
No, I don't know that.
There's a conspiracy theory that birds aren't real, that the government killed them all off in the 70s and replaced them all with robots so that they could watch us. And that is, I'm not kidding, a real conspiracy theory that people believe.
I love that someone made a blueprint, and it was basically they dissected a pigeon, and then they showed how it could be done. And the reason why they did the COVID, there was a conspiracy that they needed to change the batteries in all the birds.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
That's very, very creative. I can appreciate that thought process.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what am I walking into?
Real.
The truth, Jessica. You're walking into the truth.
There you go.
Truth stream.
Private chat, Fuzzy.
How's everyone?
Good.
What?
Good.
Good.
Oh,
I can't even react. I feel like that's not fair to the viewers.
No, it's not. It's not. That's why it's like you didn't want to say it out loud. But that's the most delicate way I could possibly put where last night went, and without saying anything else.
Okay.
But it was interesting because of the way that it transitioned from a conspiracy to that. So, because I think the conspiracy
I just have to go watch. Now you're making me want to go back and watch the episode.
The conspiracy started as certain symbolism throughout, like certain patterns and symbols and stuff, and very design-oriented things throughout history, and then it devolved to that.
We can't keep talking about this.
Yeah.
But what in
the world?
My brain.
I know. We'll just leave that in the private chat.
I was planning this whole idea that I'm going to have to do next week, and it would have been perfect for this episode.
What?
Well, I'll just tell you because it doesn't matter. I want to make a. No, I won't tell you. I'll just surprise you. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Dang
come
it.
on, man.
Well, now I'm gonna be all on the edge of my seat.
It's gonna make you guys all go, wait, what just happened?
Great. I'm excited.
It's called a teaser. That draws everybody back in.
Yeah, next week I'm gonna try to have the teaser. Well, not the teaser ready, but I'll try to have the new thing that. Why am I even building this up? I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah,
It's not even important. It's going to be stupid. It's going to fail.
That's so unfair too. It's like,
I'm going to use it once and I'll never use it again. And I'll be like embarrassed.
Hey, son!
I need to go back to my introvert ways.
Fuzzy's rubbing off on you.
Well, if this was a group of people all in one room, I think I would be reacting differently. I'd be talking less. I guess I don't talk that much as it is on these streams.
That sounded violent. Not you. Something broke. You okay, sweetie?
All right, who wants to be on screen? Anyone? Anyone happy with what they have on their screen right now?
You can put on my screen, but I gotta think a moment about what I'm doing here, so I won't be doing a whole lot initially. Well, actually,
I think I'm
I
almost done.
volunteers tribute.
I'm almost done with that page I was working on last time. I've got some crazy colors in there, and I'm not sure if it works.
Ooh,
Well, here, I'll cycle through you guys' stuff.
sounds
And
good.
here's Craig's. Yeah, crazy colors, awesome.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I have a red-green deficiency.
Oh, color blindness.
So I'm not completely colorblind, but really subtle shades of red and green kind of look gray to me. So I'm always questioning color choices, and I want this to be really bold and vibrant and bright, and which I think it is. But I worry that it's too. I've gone too far with it, you know.
I don't think so. I think that it's. I think that you could even push some things. I will say your shadow work it could be more saturated.
Okay.
If you fall into that like gray for only gray for shadows thing, then it tends to
and that's
flatten
essentially
things.
Yeah, that's essentially all I've done is just put like a layer on there that's semi-transparent that has like black that I'm just fading in and out. So yeah, I could add more color to the shadow for sure.
Usually what you want to do with shadows, if you want to add colors, is put the global color, so like the sky color into the shadows.
Okay.
It'd probably be that red, that kind of purplish red into the
Yeah.
And you know what else might help a little bit just with the whole depth of field is making in some way having the ground fade to the back, like doing like some sort of airbrush or something to make it darker in the background, to make the front characters feel spotlit or something like that.
All right.
It can be a false spotlight, like they're not really being hit by one, but it just draws the eye towards the front.
Okay. Not a shot.
And did you intend to have the grass be kind of a hue of blue?
Yes. This is when she goes to this alien environment. All the foliage is strange colors. The sky's kind of purple. The trees and grass are kind of blue.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Okay. All right.
I like your shading under the trees.
What's that?
Kind of like those flat top trees.
Yeah, I basically based it off of a banyan tree, and I got a nice picture of a really sort of pristine-looking banyan tree, and I copied that out, and I keep taking bits and pieces of it and reusing it.
It's cool. I like it. I like that it has an obvious like flat underneath. It's a fun stylistic choice.
Thank you.
Almost like a thundercloud.
Yeah.
I would go sit underneath that tree if it weren't for an alien world.
Well, that's the idea.
Even in an alien world, I would sit under that tree.
Yeah.
And then the tree eats you because you didn't know.
It lures you in with its treeness.
I might add some little hanging vines. I'm trying to put a little bit more detail into it, but I don't want to get too detailed. Like I don't want to be drawing a lot of texture into it.
Yeah.
Because the more texture you put in there, the longer the viewer is going to stay on that page. So it might slow down your pacing. So if that's your goal, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. I like the idea. Like I used to really love watching the way Jason did his textures, but I also kind of like using the brushes themselves for texture. I can create a little bit more sort of directional feel to it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, every now and then I'll use the brush texture. I've been doing it more with Phobos. I haven't actually used hardly any paint textures in Phobos except for maybe like certain window light streaks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'll invert the texture, and so it's more white instead of dark. But it's been really rare. I haven't used it very much because I'm just using the noise filter primarily on this. All right, let's see yours now, Jessica.
I want crazy colors.
Oh, I love it. Nice comedy beat.
I like how she's going to cartoon style.
Yeah. Fun.
Very cool.
I'm just doing some adjustments and figuring out, adding a little more lines where lines are needed. I'm trying to figure out if I need any little special effects where the comments are hitting the laundry basket and knocking it over.
I think that would be
in comments.
Yeah, I had a little bit of that originally, but I don't like. It's very subtle, a little too subtle, so I probably have to amp it up and outline it.
I think it reads clearly. It reads clear to me. Not to say it can't be improved upon, done differently, or anything, but
you could just put the word "flip" across it.
I'll just find it out.
That's my favorite thing that I see in webtoons all the time. I love it so much.
I was totally thinking about putting the word "turn" on my character just for you, Fuzzy.
I just want to meet these people. And who said that? Somebody gave me a good reason why that might be. As like a language thing. Yeah,
when I was on, I mentioned that just because.
It's not a bad thought.
Well, my wife lived in Japan for 4 years, and my best friend lived there for 5 or 6 years and got married there. So I've had a lot of exposure to that culture, and they very much love to absorb things from the West, but they often don't understand it, and they just take the most superficial aspect of it. And you'll see things like that where they interpret something we're doing really literally, and it doesn't make sense at all when you see it in their context.
I think a little bit of that is fine, but when you see it a bunch over and over again, it's kind of like, you might as well write a novel.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more quick question. I don't know if it's still on my screen.
It's on your screen, yeah?
And I already mentioned it, but these are comets. But does that read well?
Oh no.
But what happens before that? Is it?
It's Oh, you know what? I have an FX sound here of some in this little corner behind where she's looking behind her, being like something hits the basket and making some sort of FX sound. So that's what causes her to look.
I think that the only issue I'm having is this seems like this is the first time you see the comments.
You see them in the previous double page panel, but they are pretty subtle. Here, I'll pull it up. Give me a second.
Is she going to be yelling "Comets"?
I was thinking of something like "shoo shoo comets" or I don't know, but I didn't want to. I felt like it kind of detracted.
What they are somehow, then people will connect those dots.
There's something about them that doesn't read comments to me. If
I know
it saying the word comets is an easy fix, but
yeah.
I don't.
I mean, they look beautiful, but when I think
Well,
comet,
that's-
I usually think it's moving in a very straight line. And
Yeah, I know.
they look like they're kind of swimming through the scene.
Yep, I kind of designed them that way, but it does lose that cometness to
Well,
it.
if you
But
did, because comets are ice, like if you gave it some sort of visual signature that they're made of crystals or ice,
Yeah.
I think the bigger issue for me is that this is like a space angel. So
Mhm.
my gut is not saying that these are comets. My gut is saying these are some fairies or something.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and it's not. I don't know, because it's not like you don't have the comet aesthetic going on. I think it is the issue that they're not going straight.
Yeah, that they're swimming.
But I'll also say if you do that, then you're likely not going to have the like pesky
The emotion.
animal vibe that you're getting.
And that's kind of what I want to give that characteristic to comets. It's sort of a love-hate thing where they're a little bit mischievous, but
Yeah, I mean,
kind of having to corral them.
if in your universe the comets are semi-sentient and they're making decisions and being mischievous, then that's fine. But you probably need to identify them somehow.
Yeah.
Can
I'll
you
probably
just do a
put
little?
that
Can you just do a little dust trail, kind of like a missile launching through the air that just leaves a trail of smoke? But it would be the dust, the white dust.
Maybe it's just the. I don't know.
I
I
could
think-
amp that up a bit.
I think she just yells
I'll
something
pull up. I
about,
have
something
one more
about the
place
comet.
where I did put a cell trail. Uh-oh. Sorry, I lost you. By the way, do let me know if you can't hear me or my video is coming through poorly. I'm having some internet issues today, so I might have to switch over to a hotspot. So let me know if it's not
Okay.
working.
Okay, you're fine for now.
Thank you. Okay.
I do love all your planets and your spacey backgrounds and the rings. Like, it's gorgeous.
That whole double page spread looks gorgeous. So
Mhm.
don't change
Thank
anything
you.
about that. Oh, and those
I'm
definitely
just
look
gonna screenshot that.
in context. Those definitely feel more like comets
Mhm.
or some. Well,
These were more recently made, and I have a little bit more of a trail on them, so I'll amp that up a bit.
I don't. But even then, I don't know that.
Hmm.
I.
Mhm. Yeah, they have no trail, and they are swimming a little bit more.
But those don't necessarily feel like comets. I don't know because
Yeah.
I guess when I saw them in that context, I just went, "This is probably a space thing I don't know about."
Yeah.
or some sort of sci-fi thing. So I
Wait,
don't know.
go back to the other one, Jessica.
This one?
The other one, not the dope. Yeah. Okay.
Love that sand rake, by the way.
The what?
The
Oh.
sand rake, the
Oh, thanks. The Zen garden.
yeah. I can't. I
Very good.
couldn't.
You know, even if after the fact she said something to herself like, "Oh, I hate comets," or something
Mm-hmm.
muttering
Yeah.
to herself.
Here, one second. I'm going to go over to my hotspot.
Okay.
Because I
One
don't.
sec, folks.
No, sorry.
One moment.
All right. I'm gonna switch screens to. We'll come back to you, Jessica, when you're in your hotspot. Look at that. Looking good, Zach.
Yeah.
Good.
What nationality are we going for with her?
Are you asking me?
I'm
I'm not gonna answer
I
that.
was,
I'm
I was
just
messing with
avoiding-
him because he was.
I'm not talking to Fuzzy anymore today.
Oh wait, how did Jessica's screen get back on? That's weird. Maybe I.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
There you are.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm having some internet issues.
So one of the things I'm seeing is you lost the glowiness on the one that looks a little weaker.
The
Real
laundry
cyan, the cyan, the laundry basket tipping over.
Yep.
There's
Oh,
a really-
I haven't worked on that one, so yeah, that does need some help.
I think if you just put it into that same boat as far as how you colored it, it's going to just be a continuation.
I think you were gradually. I don't know. There's like a pointiness to the ones in the double page spread,
Mm-hmm.
and gosh darn it.
Right, this is what I've been working with.
No,
like, let me draw a comet.
This is frustrating mostly because there's so much personality to the ones in the laundry shot that I don't even think it's worth it to like. I think you should just have her say I hate comets or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I think losing that is just not worth the accuracy or the
Yeah, they need that personality, especially if they're going to be doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you just match that color, in the other shots, and then just you can say comments to just make sure people understand where they are.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone will ever second guess it after that.
Mhm.
I think as long as I establish it in the beginning, people will recognize it as comments later on. With the understanding that's highly stylized. I might give them like a little dust trail, like I did in the double page spread.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the colors more the cyan.
Yeah.
And I might do something where it's not like a part of the text, but just like a little comment that she's saying, like, shoo, comets, shoo, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. That's something I've been trying to figure out.
No worries.
Comets.
As my 8-year-old said the other morning, I'll be here when you need me.
From the mouths of babes.
All right, Fuzzy, let's see what you're working on. Hey, is that the same shot?
What?
That's a wider shot. I see.
Same shot as what? I don't know what we're talking about.
As the one from a long time ago when you're focusing on the zipper.
Oh yeah, no, that one's more like a poster or a cover.
Well, I'm trying to power through Parasite so we can finish talking about it.
Oh yeah.
How far are you now?
I got to the place where the parasite with the baby gets killed, and that's where I'm at.
All right.
Getting closer to the end. Oh yeah, and then he's in that room with some guy who can see. They think he can see who parasites are. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
that was the end of the show.
Psycho.
The
Yeah.
psycho guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Really
all downhill
trying.
from there, essentially. I would say
Yeah.
It's what you said?
it's all downhill from there. This is where it got weird for me, where I didn't like it anymore.
That's the strangest thing. There's like so much. Like if they just cut it off there, like you'd have so many unanswered questions.
They don't leave you with any more answered questions from then on.
Sure, they do.
No, they don't.
They absolutely do. There's some answers.
Like what?
We can't talk about it.
He's diverting from the point.
No, I just watched that series like 3 weeks ago.
It's a good show. I'm not gonna lie. It left me empty on the inside with the way they ended it. That's all.
It left me empty. It ruined my hopes and dreams.
Made me feel like I needed to watch a good anime.
Wow.
Huh. I'm really curious to see where it goes because of you guys' sharp disagreement. That's what I'm trying to see now. Is like, what does Fuzzy like that Zach hates, and vice versa? I'm so curious.
Are you the kind of guy, Zach, that wants literally every question answered at the end?
No, I don't care about every question answered. That's actually not important to me as much as like, hey, we accomplished something. This feels good, and this is a good place to stop before we get too far ahead and make it all weird and that kind of thing. I'd rather a story be remembered at a good, like, stop while you're ahead kind of a thing. That's what kind of stories I like. I hate it when they take it too far and then it just, then you stop caring about it. And then you don't get left with the impression of all the good times you had with the story. You get left with the saltiness after.
Well, I mean, I agree, of course. I don't want bad, just a continuation because of the, money or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. And I just felt like everything after the baby part it just felt like they were like, where do we go from here? And they're like, well, we have this thing we can address. And they're like, okay, let's address it in the weirdest way possible. That literally felt very just weird. You'll know what I mean, Jason, when you watch it. It'll be like, why?
Or maybe he'll like it the way I like it. Who knows?
Who knows? I'm hoping why? Because it left you with way more questions than answers at the end.
Mine will be, why didn't they do this sooner?
Oh man.
I think there's some stuff that I didn't agree with. I will say that I was like, oh, that was weird. But like, for the most part, I thought that there was some character stuff that I thought that needed to happen and did happen. But it's all going to be fun to hear your opinion on all of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm tired of watching it, so I'm ready for the I mean,
wow.
No, it's going to feel like it's going to end again. There's going to be another one of these moments where it feels like it's going to end, and then it doesn't.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm still curious how he's going to defeat these guys that have like 3 parasites in them and stuff. So that's
yeah.
fine.
I will say it suffers from every problem, or the same problem that every other manga to anime suffers from, right? Which is the we need you to keep going. I'm like, I don't blame the writer for that because their hand is always forced.
Yep.
And they're in an unbreakable contract, and they have to keep going.
Yeah.
Just how can I say this without giving too much away?
Be as vague as you can, sir.
Yeah, no.
Trust my ability to understand you.
It felt like after they pumped everything up so much, it was a very, very small climax at the end. Like, it was just all, yay! And then it was over.
Ooh, I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I'll agree with that.
Okay, there we go.
Cool. We have an agreement.
That was an excellent point. I think that I think in specific to that, what you're talking about, I think you're right. But I think that the things that came out of it in terms of character development were something that I wanted. Okay. I just wish they had done a better, like they had chosen a better avenue. Yeah. Well,
dang it! I can't talk about it.
I know. We gotta find something new to talk about. This is torturous.
Yeah, this is torturous. Trying to.
I'll bring it up again when I'm done.
Yeah, please do.
I am wanting to talk about it.
Any other good animes to watch? I have been dying to watch a good anime. I have not.
I'm sure everyone in the world has seen it, but you guys have seen Death Note, right?
Yeah.
That's another example of a show that should have ended and it didn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't have added that second part with the whole entire.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the live action Japanese movies?
No.
I didn't see those. I saw the live action American one. Or I should say I saw 20 minutes of it.
Because that was the first thing I saw was the Japanese live action movies. And
we're talking about the movies, or are we talking about the series?
The movies. It was like 2 movies that were live action Japanese made. And there were
you saw that before the anime?
I saw that before the anime, yeah. And then I saw the anime. and then I saw the Netflix adaptation.
What was your favorite and least favorite? And
I mean, because I saw the Japanese Japanese live action movies first, that's what kind of got me interested in seeing more of everything else. So that was my first impression of it, was that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I like that one the best. So
Weird. I haven't seen them, so I can't say.
Am I falling into the
no? Don't even know
category now.
No, I never saw the Japanese movies anime. Like all I saw was the American one and the series, and I watched the series first. So for me that was it. The series was what it was, and then the Netflix thing was like Avatar for me. So
oh my gosh,
the Netflix
on par for sure.
Fell apart big time for me too.
Yeah. With some of the where I thought Willem Dafoe was such a
he was perfect.
He was the perfect choice, and then they were like,
they wasted it.
Like I don't get it. You got handed gold and then you pooped on it. Like I don't understand. Whatever.
Some people like gold toilets. So, let's see. Try Zach. I'd be curious what you think of those movies if you can find them.
Yeah, no, I'll try. I didn't even
remember really enjoying them, and it kind of it turned me on to the whole series.
I'll try and find the Japanese live action, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was like a girl who was one of the main characters. I think maybe it was the second one. And I remember the other shows didn't have a girl as much. I don't remember. I'll have to look at them.
What?
It's been like 10 years or so since I saw them. Or I don't know.
Wow.
There was definitely a girl in the anime.
There was?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a few of them.
I was just forgetting.
Well, there was one main one anyway.
You're talking about the Psycho one? The main Psycho girl?
Yeah. There's other ones, but yes, she's the one I'm
I'll have
talking
to look it up. I don't know where I'd find it now. I don't remember how I saw it before.
What when you're looking at anime, what kind of thing are you going for? Do you like the more serious stuff like Parasite and Death Note, or are you more like?
I don't really care as long as it's fun and good. It has something.
You seen Gurren Lagann?
Oh yeah.
Great show.
Actually, people didn't like the when it all of a sudden went to the future. I loved that for some reason.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I don't know why people were like, no, that's terrible. It should have ended before they did that. And I was like, no. I loved seeing it years later.
No, and you could and on top of that, the literal first scene of that show is from the future. When he's grown up, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not. It's like they're just going back to what it was, but everybody thought when they defeated the king.
Wait. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
My bad.
I'll forget.
Gurren Lagann is a fun show.
Best mech anime ever.
Gurren Lagann?
So I'll put it in the.
Yeah. It was on Netflix for a long time. I think it might still be.
It's still on there. I watch it all the time.
I haven't looked for anime for a long time. I collected a lot of them in DVD box sets back 10 years ago before I had kids. So I had a lot of them like Lane and Cowboy Bebop and Trigun and
Trigun.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites for a long time.
Oh, that show's so good.
I hated when they took off of Netflix. I was like, man, so sad.
Yeah, Trigun is kind of a huge inspiration for the book 4 in Sithra, where they're traveling through the desert on the sand ski.
That makes sense.
That makes total sense.
I just loved that feel.
I've yet to see Trigun or Full Metal.
Fun.
Full Metal. You don't know Full Metal?
I've not seen it, but I hear that one of them I don't need to watch and one I should watch.
I don't know about that.
I think the older version for for Full Metal Alchemist is actually better. I like that one better, and it's mostly because of the buff guy, the blonde buff guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is so much more fun and funny in the first one than he is in the second version.
I will say,
Which
For
one
most-
is the Brotherhood?
Brotherhood's the second one.
Yeah.
The one where one of them, the animation studio decided to go with their own ideas for the story,
Okay.
and the second one was when they went back and made it to fit the manga story.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I watched, but I remember watching a whole series of it. It must have been the first one.
Yeah. What?
I heard it's good.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
They technically are both really good. It's just preference. It's really his taste.
Yeah, I think the first one gets a lot of hate, and I think it is harder to go back and watch that one first.
Mhm.
Or watch that one second, rather. Like if you watch you should watch them in that order, in the order they came out, because
You'll probably not go back and watch the first one, the original one.
you'll end up. I don't know. It is harder to like the first one if you've already seen the second one.
That makes sense.
It felt like they added more to that series though, like that wasn't in the manga, like that the manga didn't expound upon, so that they made other people's stories bigger. So you ended up getting attached to a lot more characters, and I think that's why I liked it a lot more.
Interesting.
Man, I have no idea which version I watched. I didn't even realize there was two versions.
Mhm.
Now I'm curious.
Was
the
the main bad guy a lady or a dude?
I don't even remember.
Fantastic.
Too long ago.
I haven't seen a whole lot of anime, but I do like Cowboy Bebop. Good classic.
Beautiful show.
Did any of you guys watch that new Netflix one? That was supposed to be like Cowboy Bebop, the Cannon Busters or whatever.
No.
What?
No.
I did see a new movie.
Are you talking about the one that by that guy who basically made it himself?
I don't know. If
Like
that-
he obviously went through a studio, but like it was him fully in charge.
I have no idea. I just know that it was kind of interesting.
I watched the whole thing,
Do you think
and
that-
it was okay.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's like it was kind of interesting, but it wasn't like so interesting. I was like trying to brag, to other people to get it, for them to watch it. Just like it felt like that came out and then it made a splash, and then it just literally died off the next day.
I think the issue is that it's sorry.
When did it come out?
Last year.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, 2019. It felt like it was made by a fan of anime.
Yeah.
Like I don't
There's
know.
something
like,
weird about it. There's something weird about the characters and how they interacted with the world. I don't know.
Was it an actual anime?
Yeah. I mean, it was. I think it was animated through a Korean studio,
okay.
but it was, all intents and purposes, it's an anime.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's just, I don't know. There's some heart missing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something missing about like the DNA of when you go into an anime, what you expect.
Well, but
And
I don't know. Like, I think there's plenty of anime that comes straight from Japan. That's that same kind of, like, I don't know, just not like we just need to make more of this,
mhm.
And
Lacking soul.
what?
It lacks soul.
Yeah, well, it lacks personality. Like, there's no, like, when I open up a new anime, I want it to look like nothing I've seen before,
Mhm.
And that's what gets me excited about, like.
Did you get the feeling that it was a little overwhelming how many different tropes of anime they tried to shove into that show though? They're like, you got the main character dude that's like an absolute jerk, that's constantly being a jerk to everybody, even though like he is secretly like a hero, And also, by the way, he's immortal. And also, he has a car that transforms into a robot. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't.
It was like 50 things that they tried to.
Yeah, and
Wait,
then they're
which
like,
one
oh,
are you
then we're going to add this other character that's actually like the actual cannon buster thing, and they don't hype up or when she actually goes cannon buster mode, like it's so anticlimactic. They're like, oh, she's the most powerful weapon in the world, and then she's all,
Yeah, I don't.
so it's all very strange.
Like I said, I watched all of it, but
Yeah.
well, I let it play in the background.
So you didn't really watch it.
You
The
listen to
animation was fine.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the feeling I got the whole time I was watching it. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was
But it was
acceptable.
but it was no hooly cooly where you're just like, what's gonna happen next? What's going on? Questions.
it.
You know, that's interesting. When I watched Fooly Cooly back in 6th grade or however old I was.
Wow. You should not have watched that in 6th grade.
Well, my parents didn't know I was watching it, so there
Oh
you go.
man.
I didn't.
Tell your parents.
Whatever.
I'm going to tell your wife.
My wife. No, it doesn't matter. You don't care. They can know. You don't go back to your parents and tell them things that you did when you were a kid that now it's like past the statute of limitations.
No.
A couple times.
Weenie.
It's kind of fun to hear their reaction now.
Yeah, that's exactly why I do it. I'm like, Mom, Dad, guess what I did? Anyway, back when I watched that for the first time, I was vaguely interested in the mystery, but I was mostly interested in the feeling, like the feels that it gave.
Yeah.
I think it was like the emotional experience was more interesting to me than the
Did you get fully cooly feelings?
well, I don't know what feelings I got, but
That's what it was all about, though. It's all fully cooly. You want
yeah.
fully cooly.
I don't remember. I feel like a lot of my art is now just trying to replicate the feelings that I got when I was younger.
Yeah.
Join the club.
Oh boy.
I agree with that.
Which is why it's weird to me that you don't want to draw fan art of stuff that you liked. Zach, you were talking about how you don't want to draw things that you.
But it's just I've done it already. I've been there, done that. I want to draw new things. That's all.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Not that I didn't. But it's just you missed that point in my life where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna draw Pokemon or Digimon or whatever, And now I'm like, now I want to draw something else because I'm tired of drawing those things. So
Get you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's not that I, don't enjoy those things. I don't enjoy watching them, or it's just like I would rather draw Phobos because I haven't tried to draw those characters, and I'm learning a lot of new things. I'm looking at whenever I draw fan art, it's such a cool feeling, especially when I'm doing other people's characters and stuff, to see the way they designed certain shapes and stuff, and then I have to break it down and figure out like what makes that character look like that character. You know, in the most basic design sense, And
Right.
I've been struggling with Phobos and stuff, not with Frank because he's pretty cool, and I was excited to draw him, but like with the girl character that I can't pronounce her name.
Yeah, the Ninek.
The what?
See, I feel like you mumble it every time,
Yeah,
Jason, and I feel like maybe you don't know how to say it.
No, it's
Mike.
Ninek. I just say it so fast now since I was a teenager.
No.
You got to realize I made up that name when I was a teenager, so it's about that smart.
And Ninek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let me just.
So it is a made-up name. Like it's not from something. Oh wait, we talked about this yesterday. You can't
Yeah.
say anything because it's a spoiler. All right, forget I said anything. Everything went quiet.
Yeah.
There was a question earlier in the thread about what brushes you guys are using for Photoshop.
Sorry, I had myself on mute. So I put it in the private chat.
Jason,
Her name.
you dog.
Just don't say anything to anyone.
Not
That
talking.
will all be revealed in book 2.
That's cool.
I am.
That's cool, Jason.
It's cool,
like
but now I know. Oh, man. Oh, look at that.
It's your
That was
fault.
only
He told
Carol.
you.
No, who asked the question? Who ruined it for me? No, just kidding.
Nobody asked.
We didn't ask. Jason just threw it there.
It's really cool. I'm excited to see it, but just like I know that there's something.
We just got to stop talking about it right now before
Well,
somebody
yeah,
accidentally says something.
So I published the old versions like for patrons and stuff, and so there's a lot of people who know all about the characters and kind of where it's going and stuff, because the old version I'm kind of following that in a lot of ways. So yeah, there's enough people out there that kind of already know everything or know a lot.
Very cool.
All right, Jessica, you were trying to say something before I.
Yeah, we had some questions in the thread. Herbert William asked, question for Photoshop user inkers. Which kind of brushes do you prefer to ink your art? The basic hard round pen pressure one from the start is okay with you? So he's basically wondering what brushes you guys are using in Photoshop.
In Photoshop.
Actually, he is working in Photoshop.
There's one kind of crusty brush in Photoshop that I got from somebody at DreamWorks that I've just been using over and over again for all my lines, but it's nothing super special. It's just a crusty brush, crusty line.
Grab a brush.
Fantastic.
Just search for crusty.
No.
Make me want to bomb, dude.
Moist. It's crusty.
Moist and crusty.
Yikes.
Don't do it.
No, if you type in like moist and crusty Photoshop brushes, I'm pretty sure it'd be safe.
My wife joined in on the fun yesterday.
What did you?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Well, I think you know what she said.
Moist, but in what context?
She just wanted to
Ukraine.
hear what was wrong with me.
Oh.
Tell her I apologize. When she came on, we were all just looking at the baby, and no one talked to her. I don't think.
Hi, baby.
Well, not that I don't want people to acknowledge her, but I'm sure she's used to that at this point.
Oh.
Well, I am too. Nobody cares about me. They just want to see the baby.
Yeah. Baby's
Was this
cool.
yesterday?
What?
Oh, wait, this was like a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought you said yesterday, and I was like, where was I?
No.
It was, the other day. I don't know when
That's
it was.
right. Yes.
My
Babies
daughter's
are
trying
cute.
to
What are you
find
going to do? One day he'll be 14 and he won't be cute anymore. So
They'll remember. You know what's really strange is that this generation of kids are being raised with pretty much their whole entire lives being recorded at every second, because it, even for us, not Jason, but like we're a generation under him. Our lives aren't really recorded as much. Like there's a lot more picture than what's it.
do you have older siblings?
I have one, but
Yeah. My life was as recorded as kids are now.
Mhm.
Like there's I mean, I will say it's not on the internet for posterity, but it is in existence, and there's hours and hours and hours of footage and boxes and boxes of photos, and
But like, think of it this way: like, literally, the footage is so accessible and whatnot. You take a video of your baby and whatnot, and they'll be able to look at that someday in a very kind of they were there sense.
Yeah.
Really,
I don't think it's as different as as maybe it seems like it is. I think
it is.
Oh, okay.
Don't
Sorry.
you ruin this for me.
Never mind. It's different.
I'm just thinking about my daughter. That's all.
Man, it seems different for me. Like, I mean, well, obviously I'm a little older, but it seems really odd to me. That whole idea of everything being online.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just social media posts that people have made for years. I went through and deleted all my Twitter tweets for the last 10 years and stuff because I was like, I don't want this stuff online. I mean, I know it's somewhere, but I don't want it and it doesn't matter. It's not like I didn't say anything that was strange.
Right. And if you said something bad enough, it doesn't matter because wait a minute now.
This is being recorded, just to let you know.
No, guys, really, I never said anything weird.
I do find it strange too, Jason. You were commenting about being the oldest guy on the stream the other day, and I never actually said, but I'm actually 4 years older than you are. And I find it very strange how young people just post everything out there.
Yeah.
Because when we were young, you could make stupid, youthful mistakes.
Yeah.
And within a year, for the most part, they'd be forgotten.
Yeah.
And you learn from them and you move on and you grow up. But now you're haunted by it for your whole life.
Yeah.
It's just there forever.
And time can't heal that as much if it keeps getting brought up.
Yeah. Like the whole zipper thing. Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Never going to go away.
Yep. Forever.
Would you call that a youthful mistake, though? Because I feel like that's just...
That was pretty youthful and fun. So it was very obvious to see that you were oblivious to what it was, and it was funny.
Whatever, guys.
It was a very genuine reaction of embarrassment.
But I even find
I haven't felt that in a long time. By the way, it was nice to remember what it was like to be a idiot teenager again. Because that's all that middle school and sorry, go ahead.
I just said you felt more youthful, right?
Exactly.
Whatever.
Whatever.
And
I was getting so bitter from hanging out from us. Like, oh, hang out with those guys. Make me angry. Better.
And I feel like it would be like, hey, so you can hang out with these people. They're super cool, and they're gonna, help you become a better artist and all that. And they're, semi-popular artists too. But the trait is they're gonna be mean to you, and you just have to accept it.
Yeah. That's life, though. That's any job, anything you do, anywhere you go.
Unless you're the instigator, right?
Unless if you become the instigator. Oh, is that what you're saying? I'm a jerk? Okay, I get it.
Actually, I was thinking about myself and how I was in. I would be the jerk when I would, go to salons, work at salons, because I was tired of being the guy that got made fun of in, grade school. Oh. So I was like, now that I'm an adult and I have a real job, I can be the dick.
I'll be honest, Fuzzy, you've said a number of times that it doesn't bother you, and that's the only reason I would ever make a joke like that. I wouldn't do it.
Oh, it doesn't.
You.
I'm playing it up for comedy. It doesn't actually bother me.
So it's okay that I tell you that my mom was watching the stream when the zipper came up.
What was that? My dad was watching that one time, right? And he was like,
Farmer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you remembered his nickname.
It's a good nickname. That's why I remember it.
It is. It's a fantastic nickname.
So what were your guys' nicknames? Oh, well, we know Fuzzy. What were your guys' nicknames as a kid? Anything that stuck?
Oz was my nickname.
Oz.
Yeah, Oz. And it comes from the fact that I was never the original Zach in the group. So they would call me the other Zach, and eventually just got shortened down to Oz, other Zach.
Whoa.
And I liked it though. It
That's
stuck with me for a long time. I didn't stop using that until I was out of college. So
well, it's a cool one.
Yeah. Never had a nickname as a kid. I think I tried unsuccessfully to get a few to stick, but they never did. But after living in Japan, if any of you are familiar with Japanese, if you want to speak politely, you always end your sentences with des, and it's kind of spelled des, DESU. Yeah, but you don't pronounce the U; it's just des. So I got the nickname Just Des from Japan. Just Des. I like that one.
There's no way to get them to happen when you want them to. It has to be natural.
Mm-hmm. For my entire high school career and years afterwards, I was known as Spike.
Where'd you get that?
From my hairstyle, honestly, that's all it was.
Oh.
I had spiked up hair for years, and even when I let it grow out and let it get really long, they still called me Spike, and it didn't make any sense at that point. But
It's stuck. It's there.
it's
not
stuck.
going
Yeah.
Well, when I was in grade school, like 5th grade, I drew this comic called Scruffy, and it got in the local paper. And everybody knew me as Scruffy because my picture was in the paper every week. And this comic, and it was like, wow, this little kid drew this comic. So everyone knew me as Scruffy, and people would call me Scruffy at supermarkets and whatever. And then it was my name at school, and I was like, I hated it because no one actually knew my real name.
No.
Did you ever own it? Did you ever go like, this is just my name now?
Yeah, I mean, I was shy enough to where I was just, I would respond to it, and be like fine with it. But then we moved when I was in the middle of high school, and I was like, I'm leaving Scruffy behind. No one will ever know about Scruffy,
Scruffy is dead to me.
Yeah, Scruffy's dead.
That's so weird. I almost did the opposite of that. I just went like, well, there's no way to get away from it because everyone's just calling me this now, so I might as well accept it.
Yeah.
And then I just was Fuzzy from that point on.
Yeah.
And then I started like when I would go to new places, I would just introduce myself as Fuzzy.
Huh. Well, see, if I stayed in that same town, it would probably be that kind of a situation where I would just be Scruffy to everybody.
Aren't you? Oh, I guess you're not technically in that town again, right?
No, yeah, that was Brigham City, Utah. So I moved states, and so I was like, I'm done with that.
I thought you grew up in Idaho.
I did between Utah and Idaho. I lived for about 6 years in Brigham City. So I was in Idaho and then Utah and then back to Idaho.
What I was thinking, we're talking about kids' lives, especially now, just being documented every step of the way. One choice that my brother and my sister-in-law have made is when their 1-year-old son was born last year, they decided to not post him on social media. So they kept him in the family and we'll share pictures within the family, but we kind of felt like he can't control that later when he grows up, and he's not in control of what's posted. And in some ways I was like, I don't know, I can see how it's still pretty early on in the game, and I don't know. I kind of thought they had a neat point with that.
I haven't posted my son once on social media,
Okay.
as far as
Maybe
I can remember. I mean, it's funny because it's not like it was this huge choice. I just did never do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
I just went like one day, like when he was like 6 months old. I went, "No, I haven't done that. Isn't that a thing that people do?" And then I just whatever.
Oh man, it's such a chore to keep up with posting pictures there.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was just like, who's really caring about my vacation to so and so such where? Like, what? I don't
Other
know.
than like your immediate family.
Yeah, exactly. It was like my mom and my aunt and my dad were like, "Oh, it's so nice," and like, why don't I just share it with you guys? Like, that's a lot of work to do.
I posted this picture. There was a site, and the site sounds horrible now, but it was called Man Babies. Where you swap the heads, you swap the head of the kid and the adult. And I posted a picture on there. I'll have to I'll find it and show you guys. And then like some talk show, like morning talk show, showed it on the talk show.
What?
Picture of me and my baby.
Whoa.
I mean, they emailed me and asked if it was okay, and I was like, sure. And then they did. Let me
Okay,
find
well
it.
that's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say otherwise, like,
You freaked me out there for a second. I was like, bro, that's not cool at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I missed that part of it. But yeah, they asked, but I'm just saying it to say that like my baby was on TV, not just the internet, and it's all my fault. Let's see.
So whose face was like? Was it your face on him or his
Yeah,
face
let
on?
me find the
Oh,
picture.
what was it? Oh man! Oh man!
I have it somewhere.
Oh, this makes more sense. This makes more sense.
A bunch of questions on here. What are you? Let's see. What is your favorite Ghibli movie?
I think we answered that one yesterday, didn't we?
I feel like we answered it fairly recently. Mine was Howl's Moving Castle.
I like Spirited Away. Best, I think.
I mean, there's no wrong answers here.
Yeah.
No, not really.
What have you enjoyed the most through these live streams and your Kickstarters? That's from Cherish York.
Meeting new people.
Yeah.
Having this opportunity to hang out with people I've never thought I would hang out with.
Camaraderie, absolutely.
Yeah. It's been really nice for me because the last year I've been kind of almost not doing any socializing in any way, even online. And so it's been nice to just actually kind of have friends now to talk to. I need friends.
Making me
I would
real
agree
sad.
with that.
Dude, friendship. No, there was a lot of friends I have that we just call and talk, and have private conversations and stuff. But after a while of just coming into the office by myself, it's like yeah, it does kind of get a little boring. It's nice to have it.
So many jobs where that was the best part of the job. Like whatever menial job I had, it was much more interesting, or it was much more exciting going like, oh, I'm going to get to talk to that person today.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like this, it's weird though, I guess. That's what makes this weird is because like I like this job and I don't need that like distraction.
Yeah.
But also I still miss talking to people.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little more extrovert than I realized. I'll just call it an outgoing introvert. And it's like I love working on my own. I can do it for long periods of time, but after a while, like if we don't we, like my husband and I, don't have like a community nearby, and we move so frequently. So like last year, we struggled to just make a community, and it was just hard. And so it's really nice to have others, and especially other creatives who understand the process and what goes into it, and bounce ideas.
Yeah.
It's just helpful and helpful.
Yeah, that's really huge to just be able to bounce, even just being able to bounce ideas off people every now and then when you need it.
Mm-hmm. You're not second guessing yourself.
Nice. Yeah. Man, I just cannot find the picture. I know I have it somewhere.
All right, Fuzzy, when you get a chance, you have to tell me if it's too purple now.
Here, put you on the screen again.
I made
Oh
all
no
the
way! That
shadows
looks so much better.
You like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
That is
Yeah.
way better for sure.
See, and this is the thing. Like, I can see red, and if I bring that color up, like I can totally see the sort of purpley color to it. But as it fades out, it reaches a point where, to my eyes, like there, it just looks gray.
It's very subtle. It's a subtle.
Yeah, it's subtle.
But
I
I can't see the redness of it at all when it gets faded out to a certain point, just because of that red-green deficiency. So, but you know, if I just bring it up a little bit, I can see that there's a little bit there, and I see what you're saying.
Can you take a color sampling and put on a palette that you save separately? Or
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'll be doing is, and I mean it like Fuzzy said, you know, take the color out of the sky, and I mean that
was Jason.
Was it Jason? Okay. Yeah, I can easily do that. I can sort of use that as a rule of thumb, and it'll help me bring things together and get a little more natural look to it. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I like that color for shadows a lot too, kind of a little purpley shadow.
Yeah?
Yeah, it just seems to make everything pop a little bit more. I mean, it kind of depends on the lighting, but I gravitate toward that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Looking good. And the nice thing about darkening the background a bit is that you still read the background, but your focus is on the characters in the front.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. It sort of really draws your eyes into the middle of the picture. So excellent. Thank you. I'm going to save that before I lose it.
Oh, that's annoying.
We should have a little timer that goes off every 20 minutes. Save your work.
I think you're Mia telling us that.
All right. Well, now I might have to go back and change a couple other pages, though.
Oh, you can do revisions like I'm doing.
Can you guys hear that?
But it's not annoying. Oh.
My boy is having a bad day in the background there, so
That happens.
Rough to be a kid.
you know it really is.
So the reason my internet was failing a little earlier is I don't get a good signal from the phone, so I've been using my hotspot on my phone. And then Verizon texted me yesterday and it's like, you have 10% left of your hotspot till the end of the month. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go buy an extender. Oopsies. Now I apologize if I use it up and resort to the interwebs.
This is why I love digital art. Layers.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Found the link to this man baby picture. Give me a second. I can't find it on my computer, but I think I see the link. I just gotta type it in by hand. Challenges of modern day life.
So hard.
All right. I'm not sure if I want to click on this link. It's telling me it's shady, but I found it on an old YouTube video. So,
Is it on YouTube?
so there's the picture.
Oh, that's right. Wait, is that you?
Oh
Yep.
no!
That's me, and that's my kid, and they swapped their head.
Holy moly!
That's so
So-
perfect.
That's my Photoshop techniques right there. I just wish I could get it bigger. Let's see.
Such a sweet something of a photo. It has a caption shh at the bottom. Just up.
That is so upsetting to look at.
There is something a little disturbing about it, but
Just a little bit.
Oh no!
These words are so precious.
So that's how the internet knows my child.
Oh.
I don't know if, like, the school your son goes to, if in high school sometimes they'll do like the senior boards and they'll put like baby pictures on them like all the way through the years.
You need to
That
do
one's
that.
going on.
Yeah.
The perfect send off into the world.
Yeah. I know I must have the file somewhere. I don't think I would have deleted something like that. It's just I probably had an obscure name for it.
That's fantastic. Really creepy.
So I just want to let you know he kind of looks like Beetlejuice.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, because of the pinstripes.
Mm-hmm.
Beetlejuice.
That is true. I can deal with that though.
You're back.
You got a question, Fuzzy, from Scribbling the World, which is, how much time did it take to finish the first 3 updates of Dead Air?
A month.
A month, he says.
A month or 2. I don't know.
Hey guys, I'm gonna bow out for a minute. I'll be back.
Okay.
15 minutes.
Sounds good.
I can fix my interwebs. So I will be back. See ya.
See ya.
Bye forever.
That's looking awesome, Zach.
Thank you. I
What
gotta,
is she holding? Oh, it's Phobos. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be holding Phobos.
So the whole design idea with Phobos was, you know how like Daffy Duck's bill and stuff like that is? It was kind of taking that kind of idea with the mouth and the face, but then just doing it with this hideous bat thing. And then the big ears just kind of ended up being these.
Are those ears or are those antlers?
They're I'm thinking they're like ears that just kind of like all the fabric deteriorated from it, so it's just kind of, you know, the idea is he's stuck in mid transformation between his human form and bat form, and so it's kind of like in the middle of that.
So it's just the cartilage left. Just the cartilage from the ear left.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah. And I know it doesn't make sense because the ears wouldn't be shaped like that at all, but it visually looks interesting. You know,
it's your book. You can do whatever you want.
It's all that matters.
We'll be back.
Oh,
I have a question for you all.
yeah.
This has come up a number of times with friends of mine, not just related to art, but all arts. I have friends who are very analytical, particularly around literature. And I have a sense that the original creators of the works didn't analyze what they were doing as much as the people that he talks to. They analyze it to death. And I think things like you just said, it looks good like that, therefore I'm doing it. It's important, and it's important to recognize that that's part of the artistic process, that there's just a feel that you get when you see something or you hear a certain turn of phrase. How much do you feel you really analyze what you're doing before you do it, and how much is just feel?
That's a really good question. I think I start with, well, I don't know where I start with. It's in a way it's kind of two sides of a coin, or two wings on a plane. It's like they're both kind of important, because like I have the things that I want to infuse in there that I about the story and stuff, but then most of it, the message is carried by trying to capture a feeling that's associated with that subject matter or whatever. And so I think visually it's more about the feeling you get. And then storytelling wise and writing, it's more about the analytical side of things,
Okay.
But I still do kind of let the story kind of flow wherever the characters will kind of lead in some sense. Like the scene I'm working on right now, it's kind of a longer scene than it needs to be, and this character is not, he was never in the original Phobos universe at all, but it's kind of setting it up for me to be able to go on to really cool story places, like after the first grand arc is over. And if I introduce him now, it's just going to be that much more enjoyable later,
Okay.
So and plus, like a lot of these story beats are they were just fun, they were just enjoyable, and it started off this whole town sequence on the right foot. It got people in the right frame of mind, entering through this graveyard, meeting this really strange character who can hear, like his thing, what you'll find out in the next pages, he can hear the dead people talking in the graveyard. And so so he kind of can sense something's going on with Aninic. So, and he can kind of sense Phobos. And there's this whole other side of it where there's like these prophecies that the town is freaking out over about the rebirth and rise back to power of this ancient Phobos character. And so he's kind of at the spearhead of it, or one of the pieces of the spearhead of it. And so anyway,
there's a mix. You have
a definite mix. Yeah. It's I'm trying to hit certain points with my story and writing, and I feel like the mood is so much it informs all those points so much better than just hitting the points,
Yeah.
And so that's why I like the big page spreads, like the double page spreads, just and the kind of allowing the story to kind of trail in different ways, just to understand, just to get into the mindset of this location and these places, and kind of like Miyazaki does with his stories. It's just a nice window into this world that you just can experience,
Cool.
So that's the way I look at it anyway.
What about you, Zach? Are you really analytical, or are you more sort of just go with the flow, creative? What strikes your fancy, you do? And
it depends on what the end goal is for me. If it's a very specific thing, like if Jason commissioned me to make this piece, he would have a certain set of criteria that I would be then have to think about, and then I'd be way more analytical approaching it. But since I'm just going about it as a fan art and stuff, I'm just doing whatever I feel.
Mhm.
So, like, if I'm given the choice, I'll just go with feeling.
Okay.
Mhm.
And unless something is like, I need to look up something because there's something very specific and it looks only a certain way, and and there's not really an abstract representation I could just kind of just put in its place, and I actually have to do a accurate representation of it in order for it to read. I usually do everything through feel. So
Interesting.
But as far as storytelling goes, it's not just feel, right?
yeah, no, storytelling is a huge amount of analytic stuff.
Yeah.
But if it gets you have to balance that though, because if it starts feeling too sterile,
Yeah.
Mhm.
then you kind of have to go with your gut feeling on like how to change it to make it feel like it's progressing and
Yeah.
a good pace and it's interesting and stuff like that. Because sometimes you can it's like building something with mathematics,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it becomes just boring.
Yeah.
And then you have to add some variables to make it different. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I have to say, I am liking this purple though. Not analyzing it, I just like it.
it's really interesting to see like Jason's old art from the old Phobos compared to where it is now.
Yeah.
Like I prefer what it is now, but I see the '90s vibe so hard in Phobos.
Oh man, yeah. It was all 90s.
Todd McFarlane influence rubbing off into it.
Yeah. It was just, yeah.
It's great though. The thing is,
Yeah.
I want to own both of them eventually.
I don't know. I guess I'll kind of always probably keep the old one available. When I do my campaign, I might have that be an add-on option, to get the old version.
I think that'd be great because I personally love seeing the progress and the where they were to where they are now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I love seeing the changes and the evolution of the story and the characters and your art, especially.
Mhm.
And I wish more artists would, make sketchbooks of their stuff, and so you could buy them because I have a huge amount of sketchbooks from artists that I like seeing all their process sketches and, good and bad,
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see, where they were like, oh, I figured out how to draw a hand finally.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. So
Did you did you order the Brubaker early art book
I don't. Oh, on the Kickstarter?
on the Kickstarter? Yeah.
I ordered the 2-pack of the two for students.
Oh, I mean on the Citra campaign?
Oh, I didn't even catch your Sith campaign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was really bummed about that.
Do you want me to send you some copies? Because you have art in it.
Oh yeah, I do have art, but I would pay you. I wouldn't allow you just to send them to me. I will pay you.
There was I put together kind of an old art book for that campaign that has all my old submissions and old comics, a lot of old comics in it that I made, and I sent it. It's at the printer now, so they're printing it and getting ready to ship it to people. But I'll put a link to be able to get one in my for my patrons and for brew crew, the Brewbaker membership thing. So if you're curious about that, I'll have one very soon that you can get. Not to try to just market to you.
Yeah, take my money, Jason. Just take all of my money.
What I'm trying to do with that book is not make it a thing that's publicly available, because it has, copyrighted characters like Spider-Man and stuff in it. And so I'm selling it for really cheap just to kind of get it into the hands of people that want to collect that stuff.
Yeah, I'm a huge collector of stuff like that. I have I have a whole shelf of books that's just art from all kinds of, I would say, especially anything from Image, or like early Image, Top Cow and stuff like that. I have so much Top Cow, especially like the Michael Turner, early sketchbooks, Mark Silvestri, stuff like that.
That's cool.
So
I have one of the Ghibli ones, one of the big Ghibli ones for Princess Mononoke. And it's got some rough sketches in it from when they made the animation. And I love seeing that stuff too, Zach. I love seeing rough sketches, the sort of construction. And
I have several of the Ghibli books too. I have the Art of Laputa. Here, let me just grab it.
I'll grab my Mononoke. I think it's right here somewhere.
And I'd collect them all if I had.
Might be downstairs.
Okay. Let's see. Solo layout. So I have this big one, Spirited Away. It's a pretty big one. And this one.
Nice.
And then this one. This one's still in Japanese too, so I can't read any of it, but it's.
But that's Castle in the Sky, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway, they're just so fun to look at.
Yeah, I found it really inspirational just looking through it. And actually I think it was the Mononoke I was reading, they were talking about their integration of 3D and 2D into the animation process. And they used a lot of 3D for backgrounds, and they hand painted textures onto the 3D models, and it was really interesting. I didn't realize they were doing that back then, but
yeah,
it's cool.
Can you get me some water?
Mm-hmm.
Fuzzy wasn't here for the question.
What was the question?
You lean more towards analytically creating art, or just going by feel, or a mixture of the two?
Definitely mixture, but I guess if I had to pick a gun to my head, analytical.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I don't like the idea of not being in complete control. I want the viewer to see exactly what I want them to see.
Okay.
And I mean, there's no way to do a good job without having some connection to what you're feeling, Because if it's about projecting emotions into your reader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't feel what they're supposed to be feeling, then it's pretty meaningless trying to work solely on this like robotic mindset Did any of that make sense? I have no idea if I.
That makes total sense.
I think you got to lose control.
That
Kind of,
terrifies me.
kind of the difference between like graphic arts and more creative arts. Although there's creativity in both, but graphic arts is so precise,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be so particular about how things are, and it matters. Where, you know, if you're a watercolor painter, you have to be willing to accept the fact that the watercolor is going to do a little bit of its own thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely the biggest issue that I've run into is not being able to. I mean, the beauty of digital is that you get all that control. You know,
Yeah.
you can do everything down to a perfect precision. You can zoom in at 800% and just keep going. But the flaw is a lot of time what makes these things beautiful, and that's really difficult still for me to get past. So
It's that whole entire thing of like, you do the sketch and the sketch is beautiful, and then you add inks to it, and then it gets all stiff, and then you lose it.
Yeah.
So what color is the beak, Jason?
I don't think of Phobos at all. Any of the characters in color term.
Okay.
I've tried in the past, and it just always made me frustrated. And
All right,
so
well,
I
I'm
was
just gonna make it like all grayed out. Kind of.
I really just think of him as gray.
I like his
And
goggles.
That doesn't help for painting, but
I like he has floating eyebrows.
yeah. Yeah.
Reminds me of Fooly Cooley, those eyebrows.
Uh-huh. I came up with Phobos before I watched Fooly Cooley, so
Sure.
sadly it doesn't have any influence on it.
Yeah, sure. You can say whatever you want, Jason.
Sorry.
I need to look at the old book though. I think it has floating eyebrows on that one. They're kind of stuck to his hair. No, they're floating.
They're autonomous.
Yeah. And sometimes they aren't even on him.
He forgot his eyebrows.
Phobos used to have like razor sunglasses. That's how I designed him back in the day. But that just dated it just a little too much.
But those are the best.
I am going to have a little callback though at some point with those sunglasses.
If I'm thinking of the right ones.
Here, let me just find a good image. None of the images are good.
You guys hear that?
A little bit.
The
My
thunderstorm.
neighbor sounded like they just like dropped dead and then started dragging themselves across the floor. That was weird.
Can you see that little picture of Phobos in my screen?
Oh,
See that? There's the razor
oh
sunglasses.
wow, yeah, freaking
Oh,
goofy
man.
movie, man.
Oh, I guess I kind of redrew it here on the cover too. It's probably
Nice.
too blurry.
But see, that's the fun thing about like art, right? Is like when it's drawn, some things that look old and dated just I don't know.
It still does look good.
You ever look at a drawing and think like no one's ever looked that cool in that in that style.
Yeah.
I look at a lot of 80s art like that. Like, I'm like, he does look cool, but those pants never quite fit like that on them.
That's our job as artists. We dramatize to make it look better.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like, those, you said you dated it, but I feel like that's just cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Like,
the story, you know, it's completely open to go back to that look once he starts actually walking around, because in the new version, Ninek got some like goggles from Sir's from the laboratory, like welding type goggles for him, and so it could easily just be to where he graduates to some sunglasses that they find in the town, in a thrift shop or something, you know.
You need to have a whole entire thing of him like trying on different sunglasses, then like aviators and other things. You know, that's a whole entire like I could see that as like 4 or 5 panels like right next to each other of him just trying on different sunglasses.
Because if he chooses those, it speaks to his personality.
Yeah. He'd be like, these are very modern. Because he's supposed to.
Yeah, if he chooses them, but like if you know he doesn't find them like right away, and then he's walking away, and then in like a junk bin of glasses he finds them in, you know, of like old glasses.
Yeah.
So that way you can literally put it in there that it's like kind of an aged concept, you know. That's a fun thing to play with.
You guys are convincing me that maybe it wasn't a bad idea to keep those sunglasses after all.
Yeah. I'm feeling a movie coming on. Movie.
Man, I would love it if Phobos became a movie. That'd be so cool.
It'd have to be animated though. It'd look cool. Netflix. Jason is waiting.
Yeah.
Yep.
oh,
I'm ready.
if you're listening,
If you're listening, he's waiting for you to make a proposal.
I'm ready to pitch it as soon as I get my Kickstarter campaign done and the book in hand. I want to go have some meetings, because at that point I'll have 3 different like finished projects I could pitch them.
You're gonna be like, do Remind, because for some reason everybody does Remind. We'll do Remind.
That'd be sweet. Weird, when I first made Remind, I was like, I'm doing something that none of the studios will ever like, and that's the goal. It's just too different. But now it's like, that just fits right in with this type of stuff that's being made now.
You're ahead of the curve.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to also pitch Phobos to Universal Studios, since they have all the classic monster type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I should be nervous about that or not, because then it would really bring it to their attention, you know. But I think it would be neat to have them almost treat it like a relaunch of the old.
well, that's what they tried to do.
Yeah, but they always try
see-
to push it. They always try to keep with their copyright, you know, which I don't. I want this to be distinctly different from that, you know. Like, I'm not trying to make it be actual Frankenstein, but it is. Whatever. I don't know what I'm doing.
I think anyone who isn't Disney needs to start taking some more chances.
Yeah.
Like, they can't afford not to.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you ever see the Tom Cruise Mummy?
No. That one just didn't look appealing at all to me.
Yep.
No, it was poopy. But the goal was to make that into like have that be the beginning of their cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Monsters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they were like, "Oh, next is going to be Invisible Man. We're going to have Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man." And I thought that was a really stupid choice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's an A-list actor. I feel like you wouldn't. The one guy you can't see in the movie.
Yeah. Didn't they make an Invisible Man though?
Yes. Yeah. No. They completely redid it and made it something different.
Okay.
It just came out.
I've seen it. It's good. I mean, I like the actress in it. I don't know her name. She does Handmaid's Tale, the series.
Oh, yeah.
She's a phenomenal actress, and I like her. The story itself was just okay.
The trailer made it look super interesting. The marketing was fantastic on that.
Yeah, it made me want to see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it.
It's worth seeing. It's definitely worth seeing. I don't think it's some groundbreaking, phenomenal thing, but it's worth seeing.
Yeah, okay.
Sean Smith says, "Will Phobos be on Webtoon or Macroverse at some point?" I would guess probably more likely Macroverse, but
I pitched it to Webtoon before I had already done most of the first issue, and I pitched it to them when I was wrapping up Sithra, and they just didn't. They were just like, next, they had no interest in it. And so, but I've talked with Macroverse guys about it, and they're welcome to bring any of my content over there. Obviously, right now.
Well, they seem to have a much broader style. Interest.
I'm 100% gonna try and bring Golma to Macroverse.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, when it's done. I get it out all to the backers. Once I get like all the fulfillment done.
Yeah.
I'm so excited doing that.
I think what they do or what they're doing, Macroverse, I think that format is like it's funny because what you're doing right now, Jason, is like this merging of horror and comedy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine it's super horror, but
yeah, it's just the subject matter is horror, but it's tame enough that teenagers can take on full on horror nowadays, so who cares?
But I get it. But what I was saying was it's interesting because I think that format is the most you're going to get the most out of it from doing like comedy and
I see
and horror because of those. I mean, comedy you get those beats where it comes in and it's supposed to kind of catch you out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with horror, and I think that I don't know. I think Phobos would do really well.
Yeah, I think so. It's weird because I'm so biased because it's something I created when I was a teenager, so I just have this unnatural love for it, and so I don't know if it's interesting that other people are seeing the potential in it too, because I just always thought this has to be the thing that I just have fun with. Period. But I get emails from people saying, "Please, Phobos is the one. You must work on it." And I'm like, well, and then they'll beg me again the next time I bring it up. And so I'm like, look, there might be something here. Maybe it wasn't just me. So I'd like to think that that's true. But I like the idea of putting it on Macroverse because then I don't have to control the website necessarily. I can just let them run it, and it's kind of like a Patreon. So I would actually get a little bit of money from it, if a lot of people go there to read it. It could kind of be a pre-book type thing. So I guess if that's the case, that means I need to start transitioning it over there right now. But I see a big potential for Macroverse being a place where I would want to put internet stuff first, or comics first, if they keep growing.
Is that a good Phobos, by the way, Jason?
Let's see. His eyes.
That is
The goggles.
perfect.
Thinking of adding like not green but purple to them.
Yeah.
So some purple.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's awesome. You have his ears almost looking like they're his eyebrows jetting up.
Oh yeah. Well, I was looking at one reference where you kind of did that when he was all cuddled up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's mostly because they're right next to his hair.
Yeah.
And whatnot, but I should put him. I should separate him more. I'm sorry.
No,
I just realized that it makes no sense because in my head they're still horns, they're not ears. So they're nowhere near. They should be like way over here.
At one point when I first created it, I was treating him as wings, and thinking, it's like his head is the only thing that stays, and the wings grow out of his head, and his body sucks in when he's transitioning. So, you could even think of him that way. I just don't know. I don't know. It's art.
It's hard.
I'm just going to mute myself and step out for a second.
Okay.
Iron Giant was a really good movie.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I haven't thought of that movie in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have thought of it if Jason hadn't said it's art.
What did you think of it?
Sorry, what?
The character in there that's like, it's art.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
This side is trash. This, and there's no difference. I mean, it's an animated movie, so immediately it's made by artists.
Yep.
But I wonder if that was them making fun of artists, or if that was like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
Well, they start
Like,
working together to make art, so I think it was like a bit of both. So they have all that whole entire thing where he's like, you have him sitting here doing, or was it arts and crafts?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like the self-awareness, There's nothing wrong with poking fun. Especially at this is my least favorite type of art. The kind of artist that's like, gotta be all uppity and I don't know. Have you guys seen
things? I know things.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Velvet Buzzsaw? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
No.
I'm happy that every single character in that show died.
It was a horror movie. Jason, you said you hadn't seen it.
No, I haven't.
Don't watch it.
It's not worth it. No, it made my wife so angry.
Why?
because she's her dream. My dream is to be a famous comic artist. Her dream is to be in museums.
Oh,
yeah.
like
And yeah, and it just reminded her of the awfulness that is like.
Oh, I might
All
have
of it.
seen it. It's the museum that the art comes alive and kills people.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay, I have seen that. Yeah, that was a big letdown.
yeah.
Yes, it was.
And then they don't even reveal to the very end why it's called Velvet Buzzsaw.
Well, no, they talk about that earlier in the whatever. It doesn't matter. It's-
No, they don't.
They do. They talk about her
Tattoo.
thing, and then
No,
they
they talk about her tattoo.
What?
Velvet Buzzsaw was her tattoo. They killed
Yeah,
her.
no, it was the movement that she started.
Tattoos will kill you.
Yeah, tattoos will kill you.
That's what I got from that show. Don't get a tattoo because
Don't get a tattoo. Don't be friends with artists. Don't artists and critics are all buttholes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the messages that I got from that.
Yeah. That's why I'm an illustrator, not an artist.
So I'm doing this graveyard scene, and one of my references ever since starting the new version of Phobos is this old picture here of Wolfman in the graveyard. Just to kind of keep this in mind when I'm coloring or doing the gray values. It's just fun to. Isn't that great?
The
black and white
contrast and
contrast
the
of everything.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
It doesn't feel like Is it a photo?
It's a still frame from a film, from
Wow, it doesn't feel like a photo at all.
From Wolfman. I just love the saturated blacks, and then they just control the lighting so well.
I can unquestionably see the influence on this whole comic. Like that's
yeah.
So is Vana going to make a appearance like in the village somewhere?
Yeah, there was this little boy that he's reading this book in front of the library that how to be like Harry Potter without copyright infringement, and and so he's wearing all the Harry Potter stuff, but he has square glasses instead and whatever. And then, but I'm thinking I'll have that be Vana instead of a boy.
Yeah.
And then inside the library, there's an old lady, and I want it to be the same old lady from Sister as well.
Mhm.
So,
And her husband's going to be somewhere else too.
I don't think I'll use him because that's based directly off my grandpa, and so I don't know if I'll use that character in any other situations. I don't know, because that was really inspired, like that whole the farm, the machinery, how it was all built. It's like that was my grandpa to the T. Even the house, everything about it. So
Cool.
that was kind of like an homage.
It's a loving memory.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You kept them alive in your comic.
Yeah, it was interesting because there's so many like this dinner table scenes and the inside the house, and they're all sleeping on the couch. Like those are just memories basically, and it was fun because all my family and brother and relatives are just when they read it, they're just like, that's so awesome.
Sweet, Jason.
That's exactly like that situation.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
Okay.
Sounds like you're getting frustrated over there, Fuzzy.
It does? No, if anything, that was a sigh of relief that I finally got over something frustrating.
Oh, okay, cool. You do a lot of big.
Whatever, dude.
Not
Wear
trying to make yourself
my heart on my sleeve, man.
Not trying to make you feel self-conscious, but totally am.
We've established this is why I'm here, just to get beat up.
No, maybe, Jason.
You're the extrovert, so you can handle it.
Is that what that means? Why did Netflix just give me a push notification that I should watch Charmed?
Extroverts.
You know what? Do you guys have how many of you have siblings?
I have an older brother.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Zach, you said you have an older brother?
Sister.
Older sister? Okay. And then Jason, you have an
older
older
brother.
Okay. Well, I've got a younger brother. I've got two younger brothers and a younger sister. And they're all funnier than me. Why did I bring this up? Oh, because one time I was bringing home Sarah to I don't know if it was to meet the family or just to hang out at the house or whatever. And I had my own Netflix account, but not the whole account, but the name. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And my brother had gone onto the account and favorited oh my gosh, was it Charmed? Is that why? Hold on a minute. It totally was. Oh my gosh, no wonder. It's coming back to bite me 5 years later. Anyway, he put it on there, and it was a particularly interesting shot for the cover that they chose, because there were certain things that sold that show. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen it.
Well, it had Jennifer Love Hewitt and
Who?
other women with similar body type.
3 young women with attractive figures.
Yeah. They were stacked. Anyway, so I went down to, like, we were watching a movie or something, or we were gonna turn on Netflix to watch a movie, and that was the first thing that showed up because it was in my favorites. It was in my queue because he had put it there. And my wife was like, or girlfriend at the time was like, "Why do you have that on there?" I was like, "It's not. I didn't do that."
It's not me.
No, well, I got a story that'll trump yours. Ready?
I'm sure it will.
When I was getting married, my wife would come over to my home where I was living at the time all the time, and that home also happened to be my father's because I was going in college and he was letting me stay there. And I let her use my computer to order, and she said, "I need to use your computer to order some wedding stuff." I was like, "Fine."
Dude, you're scaring me.
Yeah.
I'm so rude.
Yep. Here we go. And so she went and ordered some stuff. She didn't tell me what she ordered, but she ordered some stuff. And then she left. And then I am now playing I think it was StarCraft 2 with my father. And I was listening to the radio station Pandora, which on occasion, every once in a while will, give you an ad.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, I get an ad for Adam and Eve.
Oh yeah. Heard plenty of those.
Well, my dad is just like right there, and it's just like yelling out like, "I want to take your relationship to the next level." Is the and and I blame my wife. Thanks, wife. I just remember my dad looking at me like, what
What you been looking up?
Yeah. What you been doing, buddy? The moral of the story is both Fuzzy and I now have wives. So moral of the story, we win.
Yeah, there's no way you could possibly lose them if they actually matter,
Yeah.
Or if they matter, if they actually love you. Poor wording on my part. I just meant like you'd fight for them, not that.
Yeah. Would you jump on a grenade, or how'd that song go? Would jump on a grenade for you, or jump in front of a train for you?
Oh, my favorite artist of all time, Bruno Mars.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. He's not actually my favorite. I was lying.
You shouldn't do that.
Well, he shouldn't suck at singing, so what do you want me to do?
Not lie about it. You can just say he sucks.
All right, he sucks.
One step to recovery. Man, Fuzzy's just a punching bag. I'm so sorry.
This is alright. I opened the door to it, like.
Come punch me.
I've never looked more interesting. Oh,
there we go.
No.
Too easy.
I'm falling apart over here.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to jump on that wagon.
What do you mean you built it?
No, I didn't. You opened the door. You said you opened the door.
Built this wagon.
Oh, gosh. With my own 2 hands.
Punchy Pandas. Are we doing 6 hours again?
No, I can't.
I'm going to have to call this quits here in the next couple minutes. So.
Yeah, I'm about ready to jump off. My timer went off already, so I'm just trying to wrap this up. I got a bunch of cognitive drawing videos to work on, and just too many random things to do. Okay, so I'm going to vent a little bit. I set up this distributor for, hold on, let me mute myself. I set up this distributor for Untitled Chapter. It's a distributor for cognitive drawing, and they've been pursuing my business for years. And finally, I said, okay, I'll use you guys. And I just want to make sure that you can guarantee that you can do it, right? And they're like, yeah. We had multiple conference calls. The day before the campaign ends, they send me an email saying, by the way, we've changed our terms of service to where you have to have $15,000 worth of shipped goods, like of shipping costs, in order for us to do business with you. Thank you. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you pursued me. I wouldn't have even used you guys if you wouldn't have been bugging me forever. Anyway, I need to find there's another company I'm going to talk to, but it's just so annoying. Like, business people.
Yeah, that's bad business.
Yeah. So anyway, Flow.
Are you allowed to throw them under the bus? Are you like to say who they are or no?
Oh, I just said Flowship. FLOSHIP.
Okay. Just so to warn us not to
Don't
our
do
business.
Flowship unless you have huge campaigns that only are the biggest ones ever made, because they won't do business with you otherwise. Sorry. It's so annoying.
No, those kinds of warnings are helpful.
I even put their stamp. They like gave me their little stamp of approval to put on my campaign, guaranteeing that they could fulfill the order. So I'm kind of trying to hold them to it. I'm like, look, you guys promised me this. Like, can you fulfill this still? But I'm actively going to talk to some other companies in the same area that do the same thing. It's just stupid. So frustrating. And it's always shipping stuff. It's always like something with shipping. A company I either use or me doing it myself. Well, I'm pretty happy with this page. What do you guys?
I think it looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool. I love his smile. It looks devious yet mysterious yet more devious. It's just because it's only the top teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks really good.
Thanks. Alrighty. Well, let's put it on your guys' stuff before we leave. Oh, that's looking so good.
I fixed the ears.
Oh, let me ask you guys some ideas for the Phobos campaign. So this is going to be later this summer, but it's going to be a 300-page book, and let me know if you guys don't care. If you don't want to talk about this.
I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Of course.
So I'm trying to figure out ideas for higher tiers, collector edition things. The thing I don't want to do is make slipcases that go to multiple volumes. So I want to make a slipcase for the book just on its own. So it'd be a 300-page book, hardcover or whatever, flexi-bound cover, whatever I choose to do with that as the basic tier. And then there would be the higher tier, which is the numbered and signed and book plate or book stamp or whatever type book that I'm maybe a drawing in it. And it would come in a slipcase. So it'd just be one book in a slipcase. And I've seen in other people's campaigns that works really well with, even though it's just one book, and then the next book I would have its own slipcase as well. And so the idea is I want to have multiple either dust jacket covers that are by different artists. And seeing you paint Phobos, Zach, made me think of this just now. So different artist versions of a cover that would be a dust jacket around this kind of simple book that has more. So the book itself would just have a stamp on the cover, say Phobos, and maybe a logo, and it would be black. But then the art would be on the different dust jackets. And so I'm trying to figure out if I should have a series of dust jackets that people can add money to get the dust jackets by different artists, or if I should just have there be different slipcases that have different art on the slipcases only.
But which one costs more though?
From a backer standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
it would be the slipcase for sure. It would be, probably be $10 extra.
I would do the dust jackets because that'd be really cool to have interchangeable dust jackets with different art on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of solving that weird issue that people that a lot of the comics are doing right now, which is the alternate covers.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to buy the same book like 4 or 5 different times to get all the different covers.
Yeah.
When all they want is one book with all the covers. You know, so it kind of solves that problem. So I'm leaning towards the dust jacket.
Dust jacket, and then the slipcase
that's a
could
good
just
idea.
be, and then the slipcase could just be something else.
Yeah, just black with like little beady Phobos eyes on it.
Yeah. Oh, I have kind of an idea that. Let me see if I can find it.
I have to say, I'd go with the slip covers, the dust jackets too. Yeah.
The dust jacket over alternate slip covers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think what you've done in the past is with having people be able to contribute their versions of your art is a wonderful idea in whatever form it takes. So just doing that again in some way is a great idea.
Yeah. That'd be kind of interesting to mix that to where I asked people to do slipcover art for the contest, and then like the top 5 or something could be printed as options.
I don't.
Maybe not.
Well,
Help.
My only thought is that when it's something like a slipcover, that's a little more like I don't know, like it feels a little more like collectible and nice. Like not that these people's art isn't going to be good, but like you're paying for something specific, and like those, even in terms of alternate covers for like Marvel and DC, like you're buying that specific thing because of that like feeling of having that piece by Adam Hughes or whoever it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think if you do different art, you might want it to be artists who are more well known. As a business.
Yeah.
Once again, as the cult businessman,
No, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that would be sweet to be able to have. I mean, the dust jackets are also wide, so it'd be almost like this cool panoramic poster you could put on your wall if you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
If you just wanted a bunch of different dust jackets. Okay, so dust jackets is still the top pick.
Curious. Phobos.
Okay, this isn't the actual cover, but this is kind of a sketch concept. So if it's a black cloth, and then in like red or white or something or gold stamped something kind of like this, it wouldn't say Phobos 3, but it would probably be more the Phobos font. That's just a scribble on there. So it kind of has this kind of creepy symbol, but it's the head.
I really like the symbol though.
And then the dust jackets would just go over top of that, whatever they are. See what Fuzzy's working on. Oh yeah, lounging.
More crotch shots.
Just call him Legs of Spread Jones.
And Craig. This seems completely like a different comic, Craig.
Yeah, well, this is. It starts out with her being thrust into this unusual space, and then it goes back in time and shows a little bit of background about the character. And the character actually is loosely based on my own daughter, and the two of us did go and study Aikido for about 3 years, and she was getting quite good at it. So I want the character to be capable, but not aggressive. You know,
She was getting good at it, so we had to put an end to that.
well, Daddy was kind of pushing her to do it, and it wasn't her favorite thing, but
yeah.
Yeah, we're going back in time a little bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up today for the stream. Well, let me look at the questions first and see if there's anything I missed.
I think there's anything new. I had my own question, but I didn't want to. I don't want to spend another, make you guys spend another 10 hours on the stream.
Well, as long as it's not a 10-hour question answer, then we're fine.
It's kind of. It might be a long one. I don't know. Just we'll save it for another day then if it is. But
okay. Well, we can continue it next time too. So you can.
Yeah. What would you be most excited to see next from each of us? Like the question's for everybody. So
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if that even makes sense, but just the idea of Zach, I'm going to use you as an example. Goma is awesome. I think it'd be cool to see you do, I don't know, something like, I want to see you do dragons, something with dragons. I mean, that's pretty unspecific, but
I do like drawing dragons.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. We should have more. Wait till more people are on, and then we can all we can hear more different opinions. Because I think that's a good one to ask when there's 6 of us, and we have time to discuss each other's work. That's a great idea, though.
Write it down. We're gonna forget.
Yeah.
Because we gotta wait all the way till Monday.
Who's writing it down?
That's true. Can you write it down, Fuzzy?
I'm illiterate.
Oh, man.
Fuzzy, it was your question. You have to write it down.
All right, fine. Jeez. Where do I even write it?
You have to write out the script.
You got a freaking post-it note.
Figure everything out before I even start on the thumbnails and blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. That sounded so weird coming out of my speakers.
Next time I get a chance to come on, I could show you a little bit of the 3D stuff. I've got a little bit of sculpted stuff, and I actually put the characters. Funny, Jason, you were talking about wanting to make a little 2D side-scrolling platformer kind of game. I started to create one with one of my characters was more 3D, and I modeled a little 3D character. This is all in Blender. Modeled the character, rigged it, animated it, and I made a little world to put him in, but I never quite went any further than that.
Yeah.
But I still have the character, and with the animations, it's kind of neat to see.
That's cool. Well, I know Fuzzy's friends, some people Fuzzy knows said they're starting to work on a Phobos side scroller.
Oh, nice.
Now. So I'm like, yes, I can see that. Oh man. So
I was also interested for a while there in potentially, I got a 3D printer, So I started doing a little bit of sculpting for some stuff for that, and I was interested possibly in making some ball-jointed dolls, and I sculpted this
Oh wow.
character that had like hooves and furry legs and horns. Might not be entirely appropriate to show it all on the screen, but
That's awesome though. I love sculpt too. I don't do enough of it, but I love it. So I see, Fuzzy, you have the sticky note right there on the camera.
Yeah, all that I won't forget.
It will make us not forget either when we see it.
Yep.
Monday. All right, guys. Well, why don't you guys all say where people can find you before we leave? We're on you, Zach. So
You can find me in Jason's shadow wherever he
wait, right here. Blam. Why am I forgetting this?
Yeah.
I need to send you guys. I forget to send everyone this thing. All I got is yours, Zach. So this is where you can find Zach's stuff.
Yeah, just let it sit there for like another 5 seconds and then move on to someone else.
And I like how small the image is on screen.
Yep. I love doing this where it's like so small because then you can see the composition of it.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty solid from that far away, so feels good.
You did a good job on covering up Frank's crotch.
Yeah. The thing is, I was like, man, do I want to do all these bandages and stuff? And I was like, no, I should just put her right there in front. I was well, no, I was planning on putting her there anyway, so
I just love your avatar in that little overlay.
Oh, thank you. It's true.
I've been trying to figure out what's in your nose. Is that a chapstick? What's going on
It's a
there?
crayon. It's an homage to Homer Simpson.
Oh yeah, when he figures out that he's
actually a genius if he didn't have crayons in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So, question about the
library
membership. What are they? The little icons I gotta make. Is there a template that I should use to make those?
I don't know. As far as YouTube, I know that it was just. I think it was for Twitch when I was making them. The smallest was 32 by 32.
Oh wow, that is small. Okay.
And then the next one was 64, and then I think you had to go up 32, 64, and then you had to do a 128.
Okay, so I'll just start big and then shrink it down, I guess.
Like, yeah. So.
All right, I'll try to work on that too. All right, guys. Oh, wait, we got to talk about the rest of you. Okay, Craig, where can people find your stuff?
The website is Black Manic Arts. Well, it's just blackmanic.com. And I'm going to be updating it very soon. I have a whole new site sort of set up on my computer, and I need to transfer it to the other site. And I'm going to start posting fully colored, inked, and shaded images rather than just the rough, sketchy, ugly stuff that's on there now. But
okay, very good. Very good. And then we got Fuzzy.
Yes. You can catch me on any social media under the name Fuzzy Comics with 3 Z's. And right now I've got my still going, still trying to get as many views as I can on my short story comic on Webtoons called Dead Air. So head over there and show support if you haven't already. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And then you got me working on Phobos. Here, if you guys want to read Phobos, what I have available is by becoming a patron, you can read it. I'll give updates to patrons as well as any YouTube members. So anyone who becomes a member on YouTube, I'll send you a link in the private members only link place to have access with the password to get into the Phobos pages. And that's all we got for you today and this week, actually. So everyone have a good weekend, and we'll end this thing with Craig's famous song. All right, guys. Thanks again for hanging out.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
Yeah. See you later.
See you guys.
Jason!
Kids don't understand that.
Sorry.
Kids don't understand that.
Jason!
Wow, this is political propaganda.
Kids don't understand that.
Jason!
Sorry.
Can't play well, play loud.
Did you just abandon us in our hour of me?
Kids don't